was browsing Marketplace and I saw a guy had a bunch of stones. I have no idea where he got them, but he's got a lot of them and he's relatively nearby. So what I've done, I actually loaded up the dump trailer and we're gonna go get them because it's kind of low-hanging fruit. It's you know, it's right there. You can just load it up and it's not, you know, digging through the mud to try to pull out rocks and fieldstone and whatnot. So we're gonna go help him out. We're gonna go 2 birds, 1 stone. Well, it's kind of like, again, more stones than birds this time. So we're gonna give him a hand because he's got a rock problem and I need some rocks. So that's my plan. I'm gonna actually go grab his burden, his rock burden that he's got for my purpose, which is, well, I'm gonna make some gravel and or crushed stone, and yeah, so make my driveway nice and packed down, so get some nice nice aggregate out of the deal. Alright, so not the most glamorous location to pick rocks. Well, is there really a glamorous location to pick rocks? I don't know. This is like a field edge of a farmer's field and they were doing some ditch clearing, and I guess they've been dumping rocks here for generations, so that it's like ripe with fieldstone. They're just below the surface and it's just been tilled. So I've been told I can grab all of these stones and well, make gravel out of them. So that's my plan. And I think with the farmers that are driving by today, noticing me pick rocks, they're probably gonna be like, hey, you young man over there, you want some more rocks? I imagine that's how it's going to go, because as far as I know is that farmers dislike picking stones. A lot of the rocks that are just below the surface, I find it's actually easier to use this thing, which is like a pickaroon. If you've ever seen a pickaroon, this is originally for like collecting firewood, but it also works really good for collecting rock. I got this thing from Princess Auto. It's a Forest King. It's originally for logs, but it works well for rocks too. Well, we finished just in time. The rain has settled in for the evening. We got pretty much all of the rock removed from that guy's property. I may never ever do that again. That was a lot of work. There was a lot of rocks, but he was certainly grateful to have them all taken away, and that was like the two birds, one stone sort of thing going there. So like if it was just a random pile of rock in a field, I don't know if I would have gone that far or did that much work. Possibly the only reason I did that is because it was helping somebody out as well as helping me out of a jam, a rock jam. Anyways, we got all our rocks, I think, that we need to make gravel, to actually gravel this entire driveway. So now I just got to modify the crusher a little bit in order to accept the stone a little easier, just to make like a funnel. So anyways, let's get started on that, and let's get crushing. This is the business end of the rock crusher. This little area here, you basically feed your rock in, it goes crunch, 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 and comes out the bottom. But the problem is you got this like the flywheel over here. Is that called a flywheel? I think it's called a flywheel. Anyway, I think this should be covered, because if rock goes in there, you get bad news bears. On this side, you got cover on that. So I'm gonna probably add a cover on this side so rocks can't accidentally go there. And I also don't want rocks hitting the top of here, although they are protected somewhat. So I've got to adjust that. And I've also got some grease nipples up there that I don't want to get hit by a rock. And yeah, so like overall, I was pleased the way when I ran it the other day, and as long as you're hand feeding them in, but the idea is not to hand feed this thing all the time, because that's going to get old really quick. And I also want to be able to just kind of pack it full and have a stockpile of rock on top of here in order to just have it continuously crushing as I put it in there. So this is my idea, to have a chute that will allow the rocks to not destroy the rock crusher. It's an old snowblower. The motor has long since been gone, but it's a really cool funnel. And I'm going to adapt this funnel shape thing to the top of the rock crusher in order to accept rocks quickly and efficiently, and yeah, much more fun, less chances of catastrophe. So this old Mastercraft snowblower, I think, is going to do the trick. Look at it. Doesn't it look like a funnel? Look at it. Doesn't it look like it wants to eat rock? Well, it accidentally eats rock all the time. Well, it did accidentally eat rocks all the time. And now it's actually going to fulfill its destiny of accidentally eating rocks, but purposely eating rocks now. So all I have to do is just take this stuff apart. Never taken a snowblower apart, but this shouldn't be that hard. Well, after sleeping on that all night and doing some pondering and some thinking and some stuff, and I still have no idea what I'm doing. So what I'm going to probably start doing is throwing metal at this thing, because, well, you got to start somewhere, and if you're going to fail, fail quickly. So anyways, I took all of the snowblower apart, and what I'm left with is my little funnel. By little funnel, I mean my really big funnel. And the idea is to take this thing, marry it up with this thing, and it's a square and a circle, so I don't know how else it's going to work, but like if I just take that thing and just go like that, whoa, that actually fits pretty darn good. You got the protection back here to protect it from like going on into the engine. Just start welding stuff to it, right? Maybe I'll try banging it for a little bit and see if it'll sit better in there. So this is where we're at. We've got the thing pretty much fitted in there. We've got a nice little channel for stone to go in. I think I might make like a little chute there. I'm not sure. I might want it to like, you know, fill up and then shake, because this back plate moves, right? This one's stationary. So this will kind of like shovel the rock, and as long as I can get these guys, so which is I can use these, which is the piece I cut out. What I'm going to do is actually weld it there as protection for the flywheels things there. So that, and then I just fill it up, and then it'll just funnel down. Crunch, 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 I think. And then some other kind of stiffener bars. I think this is going to work pretty awesome. Just gonna weld it up. Lots of weld, lots of weld, lots of glue stick. All right, she's all welded up. I'm gonna call this thing version 1. As you can see, it's got a nice little chute for the thing. I've added another angle iron there to give myself some rigidity. I've added one up there, and then I've got it anchored to the actual frame of the rock crusher. I got it bolted in so I can take it off if I want to. And yeah, so this has got some clearance between the flywheel and the thing, so it actually doesn't even touch. So that's good. And yeah, these things welded up pretty good, which is a piece I took out. So the idea is to kind of fill this thing and then have them just kind of fall in there and get crushed into rock. Smaller rock anyways. All right, well, if you're just joining us and you're wondering what the heck is this thing, well, this is a jaw crusher. That's what they like to call it. It's the type of rock crusher it is. It's got a jaw that goes crunch, 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 crunch. And yeah, it crushes bigger rocks into smaller rocks. This one's configured into about a 3/4 inch crushed stone. You could adjust the plates if you want smaller, but for my purpose, I want a 3/4 crush. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a tour of this guy. This thing I imported from China through the Alibaba program thing, I don't know. Anyways, all right, so the link will be down in the description below if you want to get yourself one of these things. So this is a diesel engine. It is water cooled, meaning you put water in this thing, and it has a little float here. It shows you where the water goes. There is an electric start on the thing, which is this little button here. We don't want to actually start it right now because that'd be bad news. And then we got a battery. That's actually, I hooked that thing up once I got it. This is our throttle control here. We've got some sort of a, I believe that is an oil filter. There is a bypass switch here for when you're starting it. There's a little lever here that allows you to bypass it. This is your fuel on, fuel off. And we've got a crank if you want to manually crank this thing, which would be crazy. I don't know if you'd want to manually crank this thing ever. Anyways, this is the electric starter. As you can see, it is very easy to work on because everything's kind of out in the open. Now this engine that's on this thing is a Changche diesel engine, and from what I understand, it is a very well-known brand in China. They've been manufacturing for well over 100 years. So, well, they figured out all the bugs. So that's kind of what you want on this kind of a device. So anyways, here's the business end of the rock crusher. So this is the thing that actually moves. I don't know if you can see that. So this is the thing that actually moves and crushes. What I've done is I've adapted it to have grease nipples on it. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just grease it. And it says you grease it every 8 hours. I also picked myself up some spare jaw plates because those are consumable. And I believe they're made out of manganese, which is a very hard steel. So my modifications is I made a sort of a funnel out of an old, it's a snowblower that had a taste for rocks. You know, it actually did eat a lot of rocks in its day, so it's going to do its final days eating rocks on the daily. So anyways, and then this is your fuel tank there, and we got some flywheels, big cast. It's on a trailer. It's really cool. Anyways, and this is our air filter, muffler. I don't know. I don't think we need any other description. There's stabilizer feet on anything you want to have level, and then you just start it up, and then once it's started up, you just kind of level your feet in order to make it really stable. So I want to give this thing a little test to see how well my modifications did, and I want to crush rock sort of on a industrial scale. We'll say a homeowner industrial scale. Is that a thing? Sure. Anyways, let's get crushing. All right, we got 20 minutes of runtime on this thing so far, and it looks like it's holding up pretty good. What I'm having problems with is that it's kind of getting jammed. It's kind of not exactly funneling down there. Maybe I got to add some more material kind of like this, so it just kind of funnels it down there. The other problem is the chute is slightly bigger than the crusher, so if you get a big one kind of off kind of kilter, what happens is it gets jammed in there, and then you take a bar and you kind of whack at it to try to get it out, and then everything's hunky-dory. But otherwise I'm producing lots of gravel. The logistics involved with actually getting the rocks in place and then the gravel out the bottom is a little tricky right now, but slightly learning curve, just to kind of you gotta kind of jiggle it in and then not get it stuck. So that's not, yeah, everything's been working great so far. I have nothing's grenaded, which is good. But I'm gonna run it for another little while and see how she fares. There is these random blue rocks. Can you see that blue rock right there? That's the one that got fired out. I don't know if they're particularly hard. Ideally, you have that down there, and you have the another rock on top of it, kind of keeping it down so it doesn't like popcorn out the top. But I gotta be aware of those guys kind of rocketing at me. So once I get the front of the crusher all cleaned out, I can probably get a little bit better workflow. I can actually bail out the gravel rock as I go and feed in the rocks that I need to crush, kind of thing. So I don't have to kind of move stuff twice, 3 times. But yeah, I'm gonna run it for another probably half an hour just to see how well I can get it going. But yeah, learning curve, not a big one, but yeah, we'll get it going. Well, looking inside the belly of the beast, we can see the problem, maybe. So what's happening is the rock goes down like this, and, well, since I beat the aerial tar out of it, I was able to get it to get closer to the teeth. What was happening, there was about this much space, that like a ledge where all the rock was hanging up, and now I've got it pretty much straight shot, straight down. These teeth don't move, so that could pose a problem. And the other problem was when there was a rock kind of getting here in this area, it was pushing the actual chute this way. So what I'm going to actually do is weld a piece of plate there that's actually going to prevent it from pushing the whole entire thing that way, I hope, and kind of stabilizing it a little bit. It did work relatively good. The other problem, I guess, is these side pieces that will catch rock. Maybe I'll just grind the hard spots off on it, and it'll take the rock kind of won't have a ledge, and then these little points here as well, they're kind of catching stuff as well. I guess everything's sloped in. This is like version 1, because maybe if I got some more steel, plate steel somewhere, I can actually make a proper chute to really funnel all the material down. All right, well, the problem I'm running into now is the fact that I'm getting a lot of gravel in here, and I can't really get it out with the excavator. Now, ideally, you'd have a conveyor belt, and it would just go up into a pile, and sure, you could throw money at it, but I prefer not throwing money at it initially. I prefer throwing junk at it. So I've got a little bit of a plan to maintain my workflow, and it's going to involve a wheelbarrow that's going to be cut out, and yeah, so I got Frankie's helping. Okay, so the current plan is to take this old wheelbarrow. It's got a bum wheel on it that I've been saving for no particular reason. You see it, and the wheel is kind of wonky, and I just want the barrel part of it. It's made of plastic, it's not good anyways. I got some spare wheelbarrow parts now. Okay, so the plan is to take this guy and put it underneath that, and then what I want to do, I need a handle on it so I can grab it with the excavator. So my plan is to weld that guy on the front of it, and then I can just kind of grab it with the tooth of the bucket maybe like that instead. Yeah, like that. Let's give that a whirl. All right, I'm gonna try something a little different now. I've built a pad with the existing gravel and I've put the rock crusher on top of the pad. And well, it's gonna allow me to have a little bit more gravel underneath the machine, and I won't have to move it so quickly, and I probably get a loader to grab the rock as it falls out of the machine right here-ish. And the only problem being is that I can't really load it with the excavator because it's too tall now. So what I'm forced to do is go, you know, old school manual way. So what I'm doing is I'm scooping up a load of rock with the loader, and then I just kind of toss them in. And I find it's actually working quite well. It's getting the heavy lifting part of it out of the equation because I don't have to lift them. I just have to kind of transfer them into the crusher, which is working rather well. It's gonna take a while. You know, there's a solution. You just got to throw money at it, which would be like a conveyor out, a conveyor in. Yeah, that would work really, really well, like one of those vibratory hoppers. But at that point, why don't I just buy gravel, right? So the idea behind this thing is, at some point, is to have a permanent location up on a hill, and then what I can do is a trailer full of rock, and you crush them kind of a la carte. When I need the rocks, I would do it. But this one happens to be, you know, kind of like mud season, so we're trying to alleviate mud season by getting rid of all of the mud. Interesting fun fact is these blue ones don't like to crush. What happens is they fire out the top. So I'm going to put these blue ones aside. I've got a little pile going on. I got 3 of them over there, and yeah, you know they don't crush because they come at you. So I'll be aware of that. But yeah, you can really feed the crusher very precisely. You just throw it right inside, and having the funnel on the top does help because you can kind of, you know, have them all in there. But it's keeping up as fast as I can throw them in there. Perhaps a larger hopper that I can take the entire, you know, 4-foot bucket on the loader and just kind of toss it in. But I think I need some better steel, bigger steel, stronger steel. Anyways, I'm gonna do this for a little bit until I get tired, and you know, maybe go source some bigger steel. But currently I have the driveway into the shop area is completely covered in rocks, so yeah, I kind of have to deal with that. But yeah, it's a good lesson. It's a good teacher, you know. Fail fast, fail quickly, and move on. So I wouldn't consider this a fail. This is just a stage 1. We got to go into stage 2, or version 2 of this project. All right, well, we made some good progress yesterday, but not enough progress. There was a lot of manual labor involved with moving rocks from the loader bucket into the chute. And I want to do a redesign right now. Usually I don't do a redesign like mid-video because, well, I just don't do it. Anyways, so I went to Princess Auto, picked up some parts, and now I'm going to basically redesign this. This is going to be version 2, and the idea behind this version is that I want to be able to take the loader bucket, go up to the thing, and just basically dump an entire loader bucket worth of rocks into this area here. Now this thing is a little too high. As you can see, it's a little high. Even when it's on the mound, it's a little high. So I want to be able to basically put it down here. So I'll be able to bring the loader bucket up, dump it in, and then use either a stick or a push rod or something and just kind of push the rocks in until I get a better option. Maybe like a vibratory feed hopper would be nice. Or let's say a conveyor belt of some kind. That'd also be nice. But we're gonna use what we have to make what we want, you know, on a budget basically. So I gotta take this thing apart and I'm gonna weld up some of this stuff. I have this stuff laying around. But yeah. I don't know, maybe I just go hibernate or something. It shouldn't be too bad. Oh, holy Hannah, that's heavy. Whoa. Maybe that's because it's all full of rocks. Well, that was easy. I got more rocks to crush. Look at that. Do these glasses make me look cool? I certainly can't see a thing because they're very, very dark. But what I'm going to use is this thing here, which is it's a lightsaber, or I like to call it a plasma cutter, lightsaber. It's a really cool tool. I've talked about it before anyways. So it's a prime weld 60 amp plasma cutter, and what this allows me to do is cut steel like it's pretend. And I've got some proper ventilation set up because I don't really want to be huffing this stuff, but hopefully you know, it goes off without a hitch. I actually replaced the tip and the thing, so it's like, I usually cut really garbage steel and it tends to bung up the tips. So when you're not cutting garbage steel, you get yourself a nice fresh tip. It's like a breath of fresh air on a nice sunny day. So Don's here. Don, do you finally get revenge on all those fieldstones you picked as a child?
I'm not sure. Not in that pile. There's more than that.
Well, not all of them, but you get a little bit of revenge from the fieldstone.
Some a slight satisfaction.
All right. So this is. Have you seen this thing work yet?
No.
You really? Oh, Don's in for a treat. So I invited him out because he, you know, this is cool. I hope this is cool. This is like version 2, so it should be better than version 1 and version 1A, because 1A was better than 1.0, and this is version 2. So this should be like just pushing sticks into the fire. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works. You got your hard hat?
No, I should have brought my full cage.
Yeah, full cage. I'll give you one. All right, let's get this thing out there. Let's get her started. And let's see if we can crush some stone. All right, so for some reason it was slowing down, and I was like, why is it slowing down? We cleaned the little teeth here. I figured maybe something got wedged in the edges here, but that didn't seem to fix it. And then Don actually found there was a rock back here, and if you look really closely, you can see that it's rubbing all the paint off. So I think it was preventing it from like going its full tilt. So I think it just hopped over and got stuck in there. So that's, I bet you that was the problem why it wasn't going as quick as it was before. I was wondering, you know, a machine kind of tells you when you should have a coffee break? Now's the time. verdict on the torture test of the rock crusher, the jaw crusher. This thing worked pretty amazing. We crushed, in and around my estimate, 100 tons, at least 100 tons of rock, and it's not even the nice easy stuff either. It's like this fieldstone. It was crazy efficient. Once we've worked out the bugs on how to feed this thing, ideally I think you have a conveyor belt in, a conveyor belt out, and you run this thing for 12 hours a day non-stop, and I believe it just keeps crushing. It crushed it. It's amazing. I don't know. The only thing I would I recommend if you do get yourself one of these things is like with any machinery, you kind of want to double check the fasteners, make sure the bolts are tight. Some of them did loosen up, even though they do have lock washers on them. But I think that's kind of par for the course when the thing is just shaking and crushing and bashing and all that sort of crazy stuff. But yeah, otherwise everything seemed to be working fine. You can see my modifications here. That's the version 1, and yeah, but otherwise everything's really good. And like the plates, the actual crusher plates seem to they don't even look worn. I don't know. You want to see inside there, the crusher plates? You can see there's a rock in there. The crusher plates don't look to be that worn out. I'm not sure exactly what a worn out crusher plate looks like, but I imagine they look a lot flatter than that. They still look like they have teeth on them, so I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It exceeded my expectations. I did expect to have a little bit more problems with it, but it just ran like a fine-tuned oiled machine, and yeah, it's gonna find a permanent place on the homestead in order to kind of make gravel when I want gravel, crushed stone. As you can see, the piles here, they're just huge. I don't know, it doesn't show that well on camera, but like 100 tons of gravel was made, and yeah, very impressed. And yeah, so here's and there's a lot of people on how much fuel it used for that time, for the 4 hours. I'm just having a look in here now. Holy moly, there's still quite a bit in there. I don't know, like in today's fuel prices, probably about maybe 10 bucks, maybe $10 to run for 4 hours. Like it's still got about 3 fingers in the tank, and I put, yeah, I don't know, 5 bucks, 6 bucks, 7 bucks of diesel fuel, and not very expensive, I'll tell you that much. And I gotta grease too. I'm supposed to grease every 8 hours, so I'm actually not even ready for greasing. But you know what, the other bonus thing here, so the other thing was that people were telling me was to put antifreeze in this thing, but I find, you know what, you bring a bucket of water and you just fill it up. So this is the drain plug, and yeah, it's hot. You can see it just kind of, so it doesn't freeze overnight. But yeah, that's the coolant. Smells good. Anyways, you can make your tea off that. Like I've said before in the previous rock crusher videos, I highly recommend this machine, and for some reason I don't highly recommend this machine anymore. The link will be removed from the description, and yeah, so if you want to check yourself out a rock crusher, the link will be in the description below, and thanks for watching. Bye.